This is the GenWhy Leaders Podcast. Welcome to the GenWhy Leaders Podcast, where we guide millennials to become the next generation of business leaders and entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Eric Huey, and multiple times a month, we bring you interviews from high-performing millennials who are challenging perceptions and changing expectations of our generation. Our mission is to help you overcome fear, take action, and go confidently in the direction of your dreams. It's time to start preparing now, mainly because 10,000 baby boomers are retiring every day, which will create a vacuum of career opportunities that you've been waiting for. Will you be ready?
Jonathan, I feel like I should use my standard line and say, welcome to the GenWhy Leaders Podcast, but you are well familiar with it. Just for fun, tell people who you are and your involvement with being my partner in crime here with the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm Jonathan Hale. I am the social media manager / part-time co-host, I suppose, for the GenWhy Leaders Podcast. When did we start? November 2019, I believe. So it's just been a fun journey to get to participate and to get those interview opportunities as well.
For sure.
Me in a nutshell.
Yeah. I'm just bummed we waited till episode 97 to get on camera together and riff a little bit, but
sure.
Hindsight's 2020, I guess. But for those listening, we unfortunately have not the greatest news, but we are unfortunately closing down the podcast, wrapping it up here in the next few, and we're going to end at 100 episodes. So obviously bittersweet for Jonathan and I. I've been on this awesome journey to 100. That was the original goal I'd set out. And then Jonathan was willing enough to join me on my crazy adventure. So can't appreciate him enough. He's been awesome. But yeah, I guess just to outline the next few episodes a little bit. So on this one, I'm going to ask Jonathan a few questions, kind of get his perspective on social media and all things social, and also from, general business and entrepreneurial endeavor standpoint too, because that's what, we saw this podcast as. And then episode 90, that'd be 98, 99, we'll kind of turn the mic back to me, and Jonathan asked me general questions kind of along the same guidelines about podcasting, about business. And then we'll wrap it up with episode 100. Which feels weird and kind of surreal saying that after 100 episodes, but we'll kind of do the basic recap of top downloads, social media following, top downloaded episodes, memorable quotes, favorite guests, things like that. So it'll be a lot of fun just to reminisce and have a great conversation with Jonathan over these last 3 episodes. So can't thank those loyal listeners out there enough. It's been an awesome journey. I guess to give a little context why, I'll just tease that. I think I broke the golden rule when it comes to podcasting. I didn't know what that was starting off, but through this journey, I've learned and landed on what a good golden rule for podcast is. And I guess stay tuned for that if you want to learn more about that. But I do want to stay focused on the positives. I think there's a ton of value to come out of what we've done in this journey to 100 episodes that we've been on. I think one, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, Jonathan, too, but kind of the 3 points that I always come back to is one, the network that we've built, just, having this on our LinkedIn, having this on the resumes, and the people we've got to interview and connect with that we probably wouldn't have had a chance to connect with, in any other way. Kind of dovetailing off that would just be the personal brand, right? I think doing something like this really shows others that you are willing to work hard and, willing to strive towards a goal that you set. And I guess, again, kind of dovetailing off that that in turn builds confidence in yourself that I can set a goal and stick to it and, progressively, consistently strive for that goal and know I'm not going to give up and hit it. But those are kind of the points that come to mind. Anything for you, Jonathan?
I mean, for me, it was, if I can sort of come back to why I joined GenWhy Leaders Podcast, really to keep a finger on the pulse for social media while I was looking for opportunities outside of social media. So for me, it kind of reinforced some of those things that, at least in the social media sense, that I'd been doing for so long in my career, really being consistent and being engaging and coming up with unique ways to engage audiences. But really, I think we're sort of in a unique position where we were telling great stories. So, storytelling, I don't know who said it, but it's like storytelling is the universal currency. So if we, if we had great guests on who could talk about great things, that was always just a lot of fun for me. So.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, you super great at social media, man. I can't thank you enough. I admire the skill set more and more, and especially now after this and just seeing the following that you've built for us. I can't imagine trying to, post our own content, but also curate other content that's out there that, aligns with our brand and our mission every single day, and sometimes multiple times a day. So you really knocked it out of the park, and I really appreciate you. So yeah, let's go back to, why you joined the podcast. You alluded to a little bit there as far as, wanted to keep the posts on social while you also had more, account management and other type of, marketing activities that you were really focused on in your day-to-day career. Anything else as far as like what made you jump at the chance to do something like this?
Well, I think we all have someone in our lives who may be, a baby boomer or someone older who may speak disparagingly about millennials. So it's good to prove those people wrong and show them that, there are entrepreneurs, there are people doing exciting things, and it's not just a generation of of lazy people. So the mission of the podcast was part of the root of, why I came on board.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting now. Millennials are as old as 40 and own businesses and it's like I said, the stereotype is so easy to disprove that was very interesting to me.
Yeah. I've found as we progress through this, it's probably more of like a cultural tendency to just look down on the next generation after you, and
exactly.
if not for the only reason that they do things differently, socially, professionally, whatever it may be. I think it's just easy to look down upon a different generation because of that. So I'm sure that plays a huge factor. But yeah, just I guess break down, your social media journey with us. What platforms are we on out there, and why would we pursue some platforms over others?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. I think those are, then I should say YouTube as well.
Yeah.
I think, Facebook just seems like such a core, necessary thing to have, it's kind of funny because I think over the last couple of years I've noticed businesses going straight to Instagram and not to Facebook.
Yeah.
But I think Instagram is great, but LinkedIn really, just with the subject matter of business and growth and opportunity, I think is our bread and butter.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to that in a bit, and I think the followers definitely show it. But do you think was there anything about the platform itself, or besides the subject matter that helped us in growing to almost 200 followers on that platform?
Well, I think it goes back to the subject and really, again, storytelling. LinkedIn to me, and I don't know if this is necessarily the case, but it's the most positive social media platform out there.
I'd agree with that,
because we all want to see each other succeed. We all want to see someone gets a new job, you want to give them a like or a thumb, a high five, essentially.
Right.
So when you see people doing unique things and really sort of leading the way in their careers and their fields, I think people are most likely to respond there.
Yeah, well said. I guess at a tactful level, what do you think we did well, or what do you think you did well? Because I didn't have a hand in it, that's for sure. What do you think you did well on social media in terms of building the following, building a brand, things like that?
I think one, finding relevant hashtags is always just sort of on a low level. I think that's something you need to do, and I try to do that consistently. Two, I think I suppose I'm getting to the next question here, in that I'm a creative person. I think, I hope. I like to do creative things. I like to do video editing, and we really got into doing some cool things with video that I was pretty proud of. Unfortunately, timing, life, other things, I kind of got away from those, but I think those are fun types of, those are the most fun types of posts that I put together.
Those the motion graphics that you're referring to, kind of the Wednesday wisdom things that we were doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, those are super cool. But yeah, totally get it. The all video adds that third element, and it definitely takes the most time. So I guess the other side of the coin, what do you think, besides kind of getting away from those videos and those motion graphics, what do you think we could have improved upon or done better on our social media channels?
Yeah, I think being more consistent in really laying out what posts go out what day, what types of posts go out what day, and I think again that was something early on we were doing really well. I was doing really well, and sort of failed at. But I think those are the things that are most engaging, and really, it's hard in a community. It's hard to inspire a community if you're not really pushing those interactions that way, and responding to comments and things like that. So there's the thing about social media is you can always be doing something better. But
I see all the memes out there on LinkedIn about social media managers like out surfing on the surfboard, like, hold on, I can't hit this wave, I gotta post something real quick. But it just made me think of that, because like you said, I mean, I feel like it's almost a trap to where you could spend infinite amount of time on it as much as you want, and you maybe have better results and engagement, but you're just going to have less and less time to do something else. So definitely a big undertaking for one person to do. So I guess as we get to more broad topic here, what do you think has been some of your lessons learned after posting not only 100 episodes, but like I said earlier, curating a bunch of other content that's relevant to our mission and our overall brand? What are some lessons learned? What would you tell people?
Well, kind of going back to what I said, consistency is key. Really trying to find unique ways. I think if it was more of a full-time thing, I would have loved to really bring in some more of those platforms. Like TikTok would be sort of a fun place to go next. I think Twitter probably could have been helpful. But I think LinkedIn sort of filled, or not LinkedIn, Instagram sort of filled a space like Twitter. But I in terms of lessons, I always loved listening to the episodes, and the book breakdowns, especially. I found a lot of good insight there. So yeah, I mean, just in general, the insight that each guest brought was really exciting to me.
Yeah, definitely. And for those out there who are looking to start a podcast or vlog or any type of thought leadership platform, would you say there's one specific platform in general that would help them in building that brand, or do you think it just kind of depends on their subject matter?
I think it depends. Like I said, professional development, personal growth, LinkedIn did really well.
Yeah.
If it's, something more visual, more, I don't know, I'm a big movie guy. So if it's something in that space, maybe doing it on YouTube, maybe live streaming on YouTube is a better option. But I mean, again, it really depends on what the podcast is about.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And the audience you're looking to engage as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well said. And so outside of just the lens of social media, again, we did treat this as, an entrepreneurial endeavor and tried to monetize it, but failed. What are some of the things more broadly that you've learned in terms of building a brand and building a business?
I've really enjoyed sort of the look and feel and the language of each, creating brand consistency in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think again, we have a podcast that is really engaging to people who are looking to do better. So I think filling that need has always been exciting. And if you can, if you're starting a podcast really, or, really starting a business in general, find a need that needs to be filled and aim for that.
Yeah, for sure. The riches are in the niches, I feel like, and that was the title of one episode. And we can get to that in a bit, but then lastly, what are you gonna do with your time? I mean, I feel like I'm bugging you at least, once a week with a new episode to post, or just, bouncing ideas off you for something we could do. Any particular interest or hobbies or things that you'll pursue now that this is not on your plate?
Well, I guess I don't tend to look at it that way. But I think there are some ideas bubbling around in my head that could be cool to pursue. And certainly the tool I've used to do motion graphics and video editing is something that I'm really into. And if there's more opportunity to do those types of things, video editing, and really creating those sort of motion graphics, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Not to toot my own horn or anything, but I like to create music on my computer, and with each song I like to create teaser videos. So again, those are things that I learned doing this podcast that I can sort of take to some of the fun.
For sure. Do you have a brand or a social media profile for any of the music you make that people could follow you or check it out? If you don't plug it, that's fine either.
Sure. No, I'm you just search my name, Jonathan Hale. You'll find me on Spotify, Apple Music. That's
cool.
So yeah.
Awesome. And you're on LinkedIn too, obviously. I'm just trying to think of all the typical questions I ask a regular guest, and that is the ones I end with, as far as where can people follow you, and then any books and resources that you'd recommend for people to stay motivated and go after their big goals.
Yeah. Where can people find me? They can find me anywhere: LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter.
I mean, you're the social media guy, so that's a rhetorical question. You're everywhere.
Yeah. Well, while I did mention TikTok, I don't personally have a TikTok account. But in terms of resources and books, I think over the last couple of years, have been some that I really enjoyed, and when I did my book breakdown on the charisma myth, which I definitely, again, I'll recommend that.
Yeah.
If you're a total nerd like me, as you can see the nerdy poster and stuff like that. There's a book that I like called The Alter Ego Effect, and it's all about how you can sort of adapt your personality to achieve a certain goal. So if you're not someone who's a great public speaker, if you create an alter ego, maybe someone in a movie or a book who's a great public speaker, you can embody that person. And that's by Todd Herman. I definitely recommend that as well. So
okay, cool, great recommendations. I'm not used to saying this, but I will link those in the show notes. Jonathan, anything else top of mind for you before we wrap up this episode?
I'm sure we'll get to it down the road, but thank you for bringing me on board. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the few interviews I've gotten to do quite a bit. Wish we could have done more. It's just, life happens, and I certainly before doing this, I could never envision myself as someone doing a podcast, but certainly down the road, I think there's more opportunities for me to do these types of things. So
that's awesome.
Again, thank you.
Hey, yeah, my pleasure. You were, like I said, the first person I reached out and I thought of for any social media help, and I thought you'd maybe just recommend someone else. So I'm so glad that you came aboard and joined me on this crazy journey. And I agree. I think it's awesome to see your growth and different things that you took on that I know will benefit you in the future. So thank you.
That wraps up today's episode. We hope to have brought you some valuable key takeaways. Most importantly, whatever you learned, take action on it. Apply it to your life. Apply it to your career. Motivation and inspiration only come as a result of taking that first step. So if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe on whichever platform you found the show. You can also follow us on all the major social media platforms or contact us directly at GenWhyLeaders@gmail.com. That's GenWhy leaders@gmail.com. Until next time, I'm Eric Huey, and thanks for listening to the GenWhy Leaders Podcast.